What is happening, Cheesecake Nation? It is Supercharged Funk and the Dave blasting at you with pretty much our Road to WrestleMania video.
And if you guys like it, we'll continue it on past it. And it's going to be effectively a This Week in Wrestling style podcast. We'll cover Raw, Smackdown somewhat if something important happens on it, but Smackdown's kind of got a bad habit of just being that show nothing happens on, really. It's like, oh, AJ won on Raw, and then he lost on SmackDown. Yay. But then they don't acknowledge it on Raw, so look at that man. Mario, he hasn't lost in 3 months.
On Raw.
He's undefeated in the WWE. So, we'll do those, and of course, Lucha Underground. I don't get Pop TV for TNA, and I'm just not a big fan right now of anything going on in Japan. If something important happens and I hear about it, I'll try to check it out. Charge is doing Raw and Lucha, so let's start out with Raw, because it was kind of a meh. I'll also do NXT, guys. Yeah. I mean, alright, first and foremost, Shane stuff. Really didn't get a good reason of why, like, The Undertaker would work for Vince.
Yeah. As anyone could imagine, he showed up for the whole 5 seconds,
and
then left.
He showed up for 5 minutes. It just took 4.5 minutes to get to the ring with the entrance and everything. Yeah, bloody know your way.
He's making his way to the ring. They talk about Undertaker type stuff.
Yeah, so still kind of wondering why Undertaker would give a shit about this and why Undertaker. Alright, so the story they're trying to tell, and correct me if I'm wrong, is WWE sucks, Shane will make it better, but The Undertaker wants to stop that. Why? He's like, no, I really enjoy 20-minute opening promos. I'm old school like that. So, I don't know. Hopefully we'll get like a good reason behind it. Like, especially in that I don't think Undertaker's supposed to be a heel. Like, they haven't done anything to like make him super heelish.
I think it's just that's the guy he picked to fight Shane, and he's just like, all right, I'll fight him, but you're not gonna like it.
Yeah, I
type
mean,
of thing.
I feel like it would have been a much smarter if it. I mean, granted, I understand completely that this is probably a last minute thing. They were like, Cena's not going to be ready for Mania.
Right.
And Shane was like, hey, man, you know, my kids have never seen me wrestle. Let me do something at Mania. And they were like, there you go, here's your match. I slapped it together just a second ago.
Yeah,
because I mean, like, it would have made a lot more sense. Instead of Steph and Vince having, like, this issue with Shane, if Hunter and Shane had beef.
Right.
And then, you know, you have some people come out to defend Shane, where, like, Hunter's like, what are you? You're just the spoiled boy of the bus. And, you know, you have people come out and you start doing these clips of, like, Shane taking the crazy frickin' bumps, belly to belly, by angle into the plate glass.
Oh, yeah.
You know, falling off of random crazy shit. So, like, Shane still gets respect. But can Shane beat Hunter for control of the company? Like, that's a compelling story. And then you could have had, literally at the Royal Rumble, everybody comes out, number 39 instead of H, Ben Taker. You have, you know, just a worn out, completely just like gassed Roman Reigns if you told the story right, instead of, let's take him out 90% of the match. Like, you just have him in there. The final two, it was him and Ambrose, fighting. He goes over, the crowd boos, everybody looks up, 30 comes out, and it's The Undertaker, and he's just like, shit. The Undertaker comes out, full entrance, flames and lightning and rain, whatever other gimmicks you want to give him. He just beats the absolute shit out of Roman Reigns. I mean, you do some blood, do whatever, and you have Vincent come out, McMahon comes out and he says, if you can't beat my Undertaker at WrestleMania, you'll never get another shot at the WWE Championship. And if he wins Undertaker, it goes back to Vince.
Right.
So that way you don't have it like in suspended animation forever. You give Undertaker his final match at WrestleMania. He's the champion going in. So that way you can do some stuff with it, like, can he beat Taker? Because that opens up a lot of booking decisions. Like,
right.
As of right now, everybody and their mom knows that Reigns has to win.
Yeah.
Against Triple H. It's not like Triple H is going to keep wrestling. So it's like
they just kind of dug themselves into a hole.
And then I had one other issue because I'm a big Rusev fan. The Body Slam Challenge.
Right.
Love the gimmick. I said months ago that Rusev needs a gimmick like that. I suggested the Kurt Angle Invitational style with the winner gets a kiss from Lana. He comes out and literally just stomps on their head as a finish. Like, he needs something other than the accolade as a finish.
Yeah.
I think the head stomp. He's a big dude. He just stomps on the side of your head and you just sell it like you're done.
Yeah.
He killed
that
you.
Was pretty good.
Just a big sumo stomp. Just done. So I'm hoping they're gonna do something with that Body Slam challenge. I think Rusev has like $10,000 or something for anybody who can body slam him. That's a cool gimmick. Hopefully they do something with him. I think it's time to just quietly break up the league. Whatever you need to do, whether that's Berto and Rusev turning on Sheamus, whether that's Sheamus and Rusev beating up Alberto, Barrett's leaving, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just nothing good going on. I like the tag team of Del Rio and Sheamus. If you guys want to keep those two guys together as a tag team,
I think that would work.
And have them beat up Rusev, because I think a face Rusev, who is only a face because he doesn't do anything like super evil, and you have Lana cut his promos and whatever, and she gives guys opportunities, and that's her monster.
Yeah.
But he's just, he's not evil. He's just a beating ass machine. It's like, who wants a chance to kiss me? Everybody comes out there. Tyler Breeze, Zack Ryder, whoever you want to come out there. Heath Slater. Have Rusev kill the entire Social Outcasts. Just braining people with his giant stomp to really get that move over. And put him against each of them in the gauntlet match. Just destroy him. He should kill Adam Rose in the first second of the match with a roundhouse kick he's been using lately.
Oh, yeah. I'm loving that.
So, I'm big on Rusev. I think he's money if you do something with him right. I know a lot of people have been kind of... Alright, what about you? Anybody that you've been kind of watching? Because I have a whole... Alright, before we get into it, just for the sake of you guys, the Wyatts are going to be the end, but any one wrestler kind of you've been watching, hey man, I wish they would do something with this guy.
Yeah, I noticed that they are doing a little bit more with Ryback now that the whole thing with the Wyatts is done. I kind of like that. They did a few matches with the Giants versus the Wyatts. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what I like the most about it is they're getting rid of the shell shock. I think it's kind of a weak thing. If Ryback's finisher is literally just punch you in the head until you fucking pass out or tap out, that is a cool finish. I like that. Especially for somebody like Ryback, because I like him, but he's limited. I mean, I have no issue with a guy being limited when he looks like Ryback. But, that's a great finish. Just punching your head and you're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, so I'm glad, that they're attempting to do something with him. What that's going to be, I'm not sure.
I've heard a couple things that people have kind of thrown out.
Yeah.
The big one is post-Mania giving somebody for Reigns to beat down to put credibility on the title, which I'm not a big fan of.
Yeah.
But
you think it's going to be a sharp heel turn?
I think he's pretty much heel. I think you just need a good face to go out there, like a Ziggler or something.
Yeah. I think they need to give him, I think a way to do it is to make him, basically get him pissed off and then, show him, getting frustrated, and that's how he gets his heel turn. Because he's been pretty...
I mean, I'd say he's 9/10 of the way.
Yeah, I mean...
I think he's one... I think he just needs a face. When he beat down... it was Adam Rose, right?
Right, yeah.
If that had just been a face, he would have got a heel turn. He punched him into the mat.
Because, his last episode, he got all, he's all, I'm on my own spotlight and all that good shit. Episode before that, he was taking stuff off, doing the Rey Mysterio thing where he gives it to kids in the audience,
Yeah.
Kind of just an odd transition to immediately go from that to...
Yeah.
And so I think that one more good little thing to put him back in the heel seat.
A Kalisto match or something. Like,
yeah.
Make him the number one contender for Kalisto. Let him just roll over Kalisto, but get disqualified at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Like, if you get Kalisto gets the hands on it and Ryback doesn't get off and he just keeps pounding Kalisto down. After the match, you get Sin Cara to come in there. He just destroys Sin Cara. Yeah. And he beats the hell out of Sin Cara. And then you just have, like, Kalisto effectively get out of the ring and just watch him destroy Sin Cara. That way you get those two guys where Sin Cara's like, wait, man, you didn't protect me. And then they can feud for the title, because I think that's a good long-range one.
Yeah.
You get Ryback, who looks like an absolute monster. Like, who can beat this new angry Ryback? Who can beat Doomsday? Superman reigns. But at least that's a palatable one to me.
Yeah.
I think you keep pushing Rusev, and then, alright, Wyatt's. I don't know why they keep losing. Like, to me, Bray Wyatt is so far and away the best thing in WWE. It's... I don't know how to, like, describe it. Like, I know a lot of people where they're like, you want to compare this guy to somebody from the past, and it's like, oh, that's not really fair. Like, in my opinion, Bray is a better promo than Undertaker's ever been in his entire career. I think he's really solid in ring. I think he's a brawler type, which I think a lot of people are kind of... I think a lot of people like to see that catch-can wrestling style, or like a lucha style, or a Japanese strike style, so it's a little bit different. But I think a lot of that's just he doesn't get a lot of offense in. Like, if he was just... Like, he's got one of the best clotheslines in the business right now. Like, when he turns on people and just hits them with a clothesline. Like, I think Bray just needs to have matches. Like, I don't know if he's hurt, and that's why he hasn't been, like, in any matches. Everything's been, like, 6-mans, not doing anything.
Could be.
I think...
But I agree. He definitely needs some singles competition.
Yeah.
Just because
I've been saying for a while, he needs to be the champion.
Yeah.
Like, I know a lot of people like Ambrose.
Absolutely.
Bray is so far past Ambrose on the mic, it's insane. Like, I don't understand why he's not the guy in the company. Like, he's so good in every aspect of everything. Like, the way he presents himself, his character, his promos, his in-ring work, his entrance, like, everything about him. Like, I don't see a hole in it outside of just literally booking logic. I know there's been a little bit of cooling off on Braun Strowman. I personally still like him. I know Big Show's talked about him on the Stone Cold podcast, and he's like, he's still green. We're getting him going. I think, he just needs somebody to toss around. You need a good Spike Dudley kind of guy. Yeah. I don't know who that's going to be for the company. It just lets him just go in there and destroy people, whether that's putting out some contracts to former WWE stars like Scotty 2 Hotty to come back and do those, like, one night only Braun Strowman, whatever, invitational, whatever reason they would want to do it for. That's a good reason. You have Bray Wyatt as the champion.
Yeah.
You give him one of those, like a throne or his chair back or something where he just has the title, and if you can beat him next week, you get a shot against Bray. Like, that's his whole deal.
Basically make him Shao Kahn.
Yeah, like, he's just out there. He's got Harper and Rowan side by side with him, and then you just have, like, the giant heater in the ring. Like, who wants to wrestle this guy? And he's just, like, face squeezing the hell out of people. I don't like him doing wrestling moves. Like, that's not his character.
Give him the whole thing where he just kind of, like, gives him, like, the thumbs down, and that's when he just destroys his soul.
Like, I don't like that he's been trying to, like, incorporate all these, like, wrestling slams and stuff.
Yeah.
Like, bring back some old school big guy moves. I want some face squeezing, some fucking...
ripping off the shirt and just backhanded chops.
Yeah. Like, I think that's the big thing that Big Show needs to get into his mind, is just like, hey man, you're big, don't sell, and, like, slow it down a little bit. Because I think that's where he's kind of screwing up. Because, I mean, a lot of the guys in the company right now are very quick. They're very active. Like, all right, let's say you want to put him against the Usos. He shouldn't sell anything from the Usos outside of the Samoan drop and the double super kick. Anything else shouldn't sell shit. That's why you got Harper, and that's kind of why you have Rowan. I think Rowan needs to kind of no-sell a lot of stuff. I think Harper knows exactly when to no-sell. Like, I really loved it when he used to no-sell headshots. Like, that was his gimmick. Like, he was thick-headed.
Yeah.
So, you know, he'd get like a super kick, spin around, discus clothesline and stuff. Like, that's a cool gimmick. I would love that to be the Harper gimmick, where he's just thick-skulled and he can take a hell of a shot to the head and it doesn't seem to affect him or have to work something else on his body. I think Eric Rowan, though, is just kind of... like, Strowman is just everything you had in Rowan magnified.
Right.
So I don't know what they're going to do with him. I think he needs to figure out himself, like, what he wants to be in the group.
Yeah, they definitely need to make some sort of team dynamic, whether, like, they all have something. But, like, I feel like it's weird that they should kind of go with that Four Horsemen gimmick that they've been doing.
Yeah, the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would like it a lot more if they were seemingly after anything.
Yeah.
Because it just seems like they give them an opponent and then they lose to the opponent and then they never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Like, in my opinion right now, Harper and Strowman, if you're not going to do Bray as the champion, should be going after the tag titles. Whether they're in the actual matches with the New Day yet, or if they're working on it, they're stuck facing some team below them, whoever you want that to be. I don't know why you don't bring up a lot of the NXT tag teams to fill in some of these gaps.
Yeah.
And then take some of the guys that are on WWE right now and bring them down there. Let them kind of figure out where they want to go with this gimmick. Like, you have the Colognes. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do with their gimmick. Debut it on NXT. Bring up a lot of the NXT tag teams. The Vaudevillains are ready. You have...
love those guys, by the way.
Yeah.
That's
Enzo and Big Cass are ready. Even the Hype Bros are pretty much ready.
Bring fucking Samoa Joe up.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Alright, there's a big rumor that he's coming up the day after Mania, so I'm cool with that.
Good.
Yeah, it's a little weird. It's like, that guy who trained with John Cena, he needs to be in developmental. He's only wrestled everywhere. I'm sure he doesn't know how to work television. Yeah, I think Joe needs to come up pretty badly. I think that's pretty much on, like, the main roster. Moving on to NXT, we're to kind of talk about the last 2 weeks, just because they kind of all fit together into what they're planning on doing, I guess. So, full disclosure, we're not huge NXT guys. We're just starting to get into it now. Like, I kind of followed, like, whenever I'd hear a big match. Like, I was more into NXT before, like, when Cesaro was still down there doing a lot of work. When he was, like, Mr. I'll work every single day, apparently. And he would do, like, Raw, Smackdown, and NXT. And then show up on, like, Superstars every once in a while, and then work a pay-per-view and do 2 matches on the pay-per-view. Like, him and Sami Zayn were just tearing down the house with, like, the best matches. But, alright. So I had seen a few Prince Devitt matches, so seeing Finn Balor wasn't a huge change. Him and Neville, I guess, is like where to start. Have you seen Neville before this?
I believe so. I know I recognize him.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like,
feel like I must.
He's on the main roster every once in a while, but like they haven't really done anything.
Yeah, like I feel like I must have seen him wrestle before. Like, I'm almost 100% positive.
Yeah. Like, he's a great athlete, but like he's such a mixed bag of, like, a character.
Yeah.
Like, he was doing power moves, but he's smaller than Balor. I do like the deadlift German he did. That was really cool looking. I'm with a lot of people, though. I think he needs to be under a mask, and that's not just like oh, you're ugly, put a mask on kind of thing. Like, I think if you want to sell him as a superhero, you got to put the mask on him, give him a different look, because no offense to Neville, but he's not selling a whole lot in the face. And again, that's not like an attractive issue. I mean, he's just not really, like, he's not in a motor. Like, when you'd watch Stone Cold, like, when even he didn't have a mic, just like the looks on his face, like, you could tell he was angry, kind of like...
Yeah, he's very
reserved. Like,
yeah, reserve that. That's a good way.
So I think like maybe put him in a mask. Maybe change up the gear a little bit to maybe just a little bit. Like it's not horrible, but something kind of conveys superhero. Like I know Hurricane to a lot of people was kind of a joke, but as someone who lived through like Hurricane, he was loved him. Super over with kids.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like I can't believe they haven't tried to do that before.
Yeah, like I think it's time to put him in a mask. Give him a better name than Neville. Like that's
Neville. Like, I almost like can't believe that that's the dude's name. And then I looked at him. It's like, oh yeah, he looks like a Neville.
Yeah, I was just like,
might as well call him Millhouse.
I don't know what you want to call him, but he needs a cool name, kind of like the Sin Caras, the Kalistos of the world. Like, give him a nice, flashy name, a gimmick name. Let him do his thing. I would change the name of his finish from the Red Arrow to whatever the hell you'd want. I mean, I guess I get where it comes from. It's like a British, their stunt planes and stuff. So, I mean, maybe if you can work in some sort of name that kind of fits into that. You don't want to call him Red Arrow. You're going to get a cease and desist from DC. Effectively, instantly. And he wears purple, and you really don't want to call him somebody the Purple Arrow. So, I don't know. Figure out whatever you want to call him. Give him a cool name. Take him off TV for a little bit. If Tyson Kidd's not coming back, and Cesaro still wants to do tag team stuff, maybe that's your team. He puts Cesaro under a mask. I think he's another guy. I love Cesaro a lot, but he doesn't emote a lot. You know, he'll smile, but that's about it. So you kind of get him in like one of those like half masks, like a Robin mask. You give him a cape too. You make them like a superhero team, whatever you want to call them. And then you let them work like that. You got the man who gravity forgot and the Swiss Superman. I mean, you're probably going to come up with something else that we just don't know it's those two.
Yeah.
Or maybe you do, and they just have very similar gear, but with masks, and they try to pretend they're not. And like that could be their gimmick.
Yeah.
But I think you take them both down to NXT when Cesaro wants to come back, and whatever you want to do with Neville. That way they can figure out this gimmick. Do the same thing with the clones, and then bump up some of the tag teams from NXT to the main roster, because they're desperate for tag teams. Like New Day is so far past any other tag team. It's like, I like the Usos. They're not great on the mic.
Yeah.
Like when they're trying to cut promos on the New Day, it's like,
especially now.
It's like watching when The Rock used to have to like cut promos with like Jeff Jarrett.
Right. Especially now that Dudley Boys are back, like they're just getting.
Yeah, like even the Dudley Boys, I would argue, really like. They're very strong into the gimmick, and I mean they're very solid in ring, but I think Xavier is literally on that top tier mic skill.
Oh, absolutely.
Like it's hard for anybody really to, like even when it was them and The Rock, like they were doing a real good job hanging with The Rock. I think Big E just has a shit ton of natural charisma. Like he comes off and like even people that have never watched wrestling see him and like him.
And people already like Kofi.
Yeah, Kofi's just got nice guy, cool guy charm. But I mean, Xavier is amazing, and Big E is just like a charisma fountain.
Yeah.
Like, you just want to party with Big E.
It's almost kind of sad, like they're heels, but I feel like if we get like.
I think they're kind of like.
They're slowly making a transition.
I think they're just letting them be tweeners. I mean, I think they're heels in the way that they need to be the ones who face tag teams.
Yeah.
But I think they're just letting them, like, they're letting them sell merch, they're letting them do whatever they want. Alright, not to go back, because I know we started talking about NXT, but I just remembered, Y2AJ, thoughts? Because I just, before you give your answer, I fucking hate it. What are your thoughts?
I don't hate it, like, I thought it was interesting, but I don't see it going anywhere, really.
I mean, I would rather AJ and Owens for the IC right now. Like, if they have no plans to move AJ up to the world title, and they're just kind of dicking around until they figure out what they want to do, like, I think it's fairly obvious they want to do something with a heel Jericho, but I don't know how long he's hanging around.
Hi, sugar.
Hi, Tree Trunks. So, Yeah, I hate it. All right, so going back, you finally got to see Eva Marie. Was she everything I built her up as?
Oh, yeah, she was fantastic.
Yeah, very pretty girl. I think, maybe in a few years she'll kind of start to get it together, but right now...
Someone needs to wire her mouth shut and teach her how to wrestle.
Yeah, even Nia Jax, being effectively, her combination heater / worker / everything else, she was pretty rough.
Mm.
I mean, Bayley versus Asuka should be an amazing match whenever we get that.
Yeah.
But I'm not really seeing the hype that a lot of people are putting in the women's division, unless that's literally the hype is Bayley and Asuka.
Yeah.
I think Emma is okay. I think, what was it, Santana Garrett?
Yeah,
her name was.
Santana.
I think she was okay, but I don't think she's very good. I mean, I'll put it to you this way: I'm trying to think a good middle ground. I don't want to say Alicia Fox because I think Alicia Fox is actually pretty good, but let's just say if we take the bar at Alicia Fox. If you're at her level or above, you're a good female wrestler.
Yeah.
I would say it's her, Natty, obviously. I think Nikki has moments, but I don't know if I'd put her on that level.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that.
Paige, I think, is at that level, but she's just...
Yeah, she needs some work. I want to like her so much, but...
Every time I've ever seen her outside the ring stuff, she just comes off like a cunt. I'm sorry, but it's Jesus Christ, just she's like the female Roman Reigns. Don't let her talk to the media. Because, the Tough Enough thing, I think, did so much damage to her career. She was going to be just huge. She was this cute girl. She was punk and different than all the other, cookie-cutter bubblegum divas.
Yeah.
And she goes on Tough Enough, and she's just such a cunt. And people are just what happened to this girl that we all like? So, I don't know. Obviously, the Divas Revolution girls, they're up there. I'm thinking as of right now, between the three of them, I think I like Becky the most.
Yeah.
I think, I'll say the four of them because there's Bayley too. I haven't really seen that much of Bayley. I saw her in Sasha's matches, and I saw obviously the tag team match from a week ago. I'm not going to put that on her. Yeah. I was getting to a little bit of a rough match, so I mean, we got the network now, so we'll watch the NXT thing that comes out before Mania, and then obviously Mania itself. So we'll see what they want to do with Bayley, and I'll readdress the four. But yeah, I don't think any of the divas are really on Natty's level yet, which I guess is fair. I mean, she's the most experienced, but Sasha does a lot of weird stuff. But I mean, move to move, I think she's probably the best. But I think she's kind of missing some mindset stuff. Yeah. I think of the four, I think Becky has the best chance. I think the only thing really holding her back is promos because of her accent. Right. I think she just kind of needs, you need to get a speech coach in there and just kind of help her work on toning down the accent a little bit. You obviously want to keep it, but she's kind of coming off Sheamus is hokey. I'm the last kicker.
Yeah, I think that's what's the one that she's just gonna. It's hard when you're being, like you said, being compared to somebody, but she's just going to end up being girl Sheamus.
Yeah, and I think she's probably the best of the four. I like her more than even Paige, and Paige has a little bit of a head start on all of them.
Yeah.
I don't know though. If I had to say my favorite female in the WWE right now.
Asuka.
Yeah, Asuka. But I mean, in the main roster, I don't know, maybe Alicia Fox. I know I just used her as the benchmark, but she generally tends to do things that I'm just oh, that was cool. Or Becky, and then obviously Asuka, but I don't really
it took her she's been working hard, when she first came in. I don't think she was nothing too special, but she's definitely worked her way up, and she's become pretty good.
All right, so now that we've seen a whole bunch of different tag teams down there, any tag team jumping out to you as your favorite?
Oh my god, dude.
So let's do a little
You already know.
We have my boys, the Vaudevillains. We have, if you want to call them the American males, I think they're the alpha males.
Yeah.
We had...
American Alphas.
American Alphas, that was their name. We have, how are their names? It's Dash and the champs right now. Who are kind of doing the Brainbuster gimmick.
Yeah.
Which I really like that gimmick. That's a cool gimmick. You can tell he's definitely an Arn Anderson fan of the bald dude. I was just like, holy shit. It's an Arn Anderson promo if I've ever seen one. Like, did Arn just, like, sell his soul to this guy? He's like, I will transfer my energy to you like he's frickin' nailing Piccolo. He's got, like, his neck roll and everything on. So I'm liking that. Enzo and Cass, who I'd seen before, and I think they're really solid. I'm always a little worried about, like, what Enzo in the ring can do. I think he's fine, but the main roster has this frickin' stupid fascination with, like, singles matches where tag teams are concerned. I don't get it. I think it's just about not having enough good, solid tag teams. Yeah, I can't think of the two other dudes who had, not Alundra Blaze, that's Medusa's name. What the hell was her name? The little tiny one they have with her. The two dudes. The ones that had, like, nothing special in the match we saw. Because I've heard a lot of people say they like them, but I didn't see anything special.
Yeah.
At least in that match. Maybe, you know, down the line I'll see something and I'll be completely wrong. But yeah, the Vaudevillains. Hype Bros, we also saw them cut a promo. I'm a Zack Ryder fan.
Oh, yeah. Gotta love that guy.
And Mojo Rawley, I know a lot of people are kind of on the fence with. I don't think he's a particularly great wrestler. I've seen a few of his matches, but at the same time, he's the hot tag guy. It's kind of like hating on Roman Reigns in the Shield days. Like, yeah, I wasn't a fan of his, but at the same time, it's like, it's his gimmick. Like, somebody has to be the big guy to come in and do the hot tag, get the clotheslines and whatnot. The stay hype and screaming and stuff, I think that kind of works as a team.
Yeah.
So, I think, you know, you have some teams there that could definitely get bumped up. Championship. Have you ever seen any El Generico matches, really?
No,
can't say that. So you don't know a whole lot about Sami Zayn other than what he did in the Rumble, effectively. Yeah. And you've seen Joe, because you used to watch him TNA. So, who would you rather see Balor fight, just off the limited Joe?
Yeah, I was a pretty big fan of Samoa Joe back in TNA. Because we used to watch a lot of early TNA when it first came out.
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the first TNA one where they had I think it was an 8-man or something.
Yeah. I just always really enjoyed his wrestling. Like, I feel like he's a very hard guy to read in terms of just, like, what he's thinking. And
I think he has a good mind for the business, too.
Yeah.
Like, I'm glad he's finally with the E. I hope he'll do, 4 years or whatever he wants to do. And then he stays with the E doing backstage stuff, helping these guys out.
Yeah, I definitely think this is where he wants to be.
Yeah, I think he's got a good mind for the business. He knows how to get his character over. Oh, we saw the debut of Austin Aries.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not a big Austin Aries guy, but have you seen a whole lot of him?
I've seen a little bit of him.
Yeah, some of the TNA stuff he did.
Yeah.
No, we didn't see James Storm. He's back with TNA. Dumbass. Oh, they're going to offer me more money. Yeah, you were developmental until you win a few matches, do some stuff, and end up on the main roster. But, I mean, you know what? It's a man's business. I think he's a freaking idiot, but hey. Your boy there. I called him Gooberg.
Gooberg.
Him and Apollo Crews' match from last week.
Yeah. Oh, we love this guy. Like, we don't even know what his name is, but we just kept calling him Gooberg.
I know some people have talked about him. Can't remember what his NXT name is, but he's apparently a pretty big guy in the Indies. But they gave him a pretty strong first appearance, though, just to beat down Apollo Crews, unless they're kind of already hey, Apollo, we're kind of...
Like, this dude, I felt like there was nothing special going on about this guy. This dude comes out like he's insane. like he's just some homeless guy they pulled off the street.
Yeah, because I've never seen an actual, like, Ooh-Ha Nation match before that. I'd seen a lot of his, like, best 25 moves and all this shit, people talking about him. Like, oh, he's super built, but he can do all these high-flying moves. And then I see him, and he's, like, a square human being. Like, I don't know how tall he is, but he looks tiny.
Yeah. And he was just fun to watch.
Oh, we're talking about two different people. I'm talking about Paul.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
You're talking about the guy I thought looked like a big Gilbert.
right, but
I just don't want to confuse people at home. But yeah, I liked Gooberg, as I called him. He kind of looked like a dirty, large Gilbert.
Yeah. And
Apollo Crews definitely didn't impress me in this first match. I mean, granted, he didn't do a whole lot. It's like, impress me with that one move you do.
Yeah.
Really, we missed any other matches on NXT before we move into Lucha. I think that's pretty much everything.
Yeah.
My boy William Regal, obviously. I was telling Judge here, bring Regal back to commentary. I don't like Tom Phillips. But I think if having Regal there as the third man on the table, as like an impartial, like I don't want him to be an obnoxious face guy because he has a face. Yeah, but just to cut, talk about the moves. God damn it! I know like that's an anti-Vince thing and an anti-Kevin Dunn. They don't like that bullshit. Yeah. Screw it. I enjoy. You're working the neck. You're hurting the arms. Everything from the waist down. You explain why they're doing certain moves. You tell the story. That's how you work wrestling. Like that's the common denominator of why wrestling's going down.
Yeah.
I don't know why they don't see that. All right, so moving on. Lucha. I'm so in love with what Lucha's doing right now.
Oh, like I've only seen like Dave has got me onto it. Like he's been showing me a couple things here and there. Yeah. I am a fan. Like next week I'm buying some. I'm gonna buy a shirt. Probably gonna get a hat.
I'm wearing a Lucha Underground shirt right now. But
like it's everything I love about wrestling. Everything I've ever loved about wrestling. It's because like I'm always been about the spectacle.
One word, 3-letter. It's fun. That's what it is. At
Absolutely.
The end of the day, it's really solid in-ring work with crazy stories, but at the same time, it fits the universe. Your universe.
Crazy stories, crazy characters. Like it reflects the people who work on it. They dig what they're doing.
Because you know what it feels like? It feels like somebody is doing a Street Fighter, a Mortal Kombat, a Tekken movie done right.
You know what? It definitely. It feels like someone's putting together like a fictional world. Yeah. It doesn't feel like, as you said, it doesn't feel like in the WWE where they're trying to make it realistic.
It's like, oh, this is John Cena. He makes Make-A-Wish, and over there, Bray Wyatt. Here's the devil. He eats people.
There's this dude. He's an actual cannibal. There's this guy. He's a dragon. No, really, he's a dragon. Like
to explain to somebody who's never watched it is pretty crazy. Like, in the universe, like, I only have, what do we have, 6 episodes so far? I've had 2 issues the entire thing. One is, we never got to see who Sexy started running from. Like, that was kind of weird.
Yeah.
We just never really saw it. And the other one was Dragon Azteca. They don't really seem to know what they want to do with him yet. That's my only 2 issues, and maybe I'm just, reading into it wrong, because the way they built up him, like, granted, there's supposed to be 2 different people. The original Dragon Azteca died at the season finale for season 1. But, alright, so I'm just going to talk a little bit about Lucha. If you guys
don't put your ass in the camera.
Don't care about it, and we're here for the WWE talk, hey, come back. We'll be talking about Roadblock. I think that's the name of the... She
wants to go back to her corner.
The Roadblock, not pay-per-view, house show, whatever. We'll be talking about that. We'll talk about Raw next week. Nothing really happened on SmackDown, but we discuss if something important really happened. Obviously, WrestleMania when that comes up. So if that's all you guys are interested in WWE stuff, come back and enjoy it. Put it in the comments like, hey, we don't give a shit about Lucha.
What the hell are you doing,
Trevor? You guys want to deal with it. Alright, so moving on to Lucha stuff. King Cuerno. I'm really digging that dude.
Yeah.
He is like everything I liked about Randy Orton in the past that he just seems to have lost. moves so fast, you start to get like a little bit of slop in there. Cuerno's very slow, very methodical, has some really cool looking moves. So I gotta say, like, he's slowly creeping up to my favorite guy in Lucha. I mean, as of right now, it's Johnny Mundo. I think he's arguably the best guy going right now. Like, between his promos, his in-ring, his appearance, the presentation.
Hasn't really changed much.
Yeah, I mean,
since he started out.
He's still definitely John Morrison. Like, that's the character. But he's evolved it into a full-blown person. Like,
he's taken that character and he's perfected it.
Yeah, he's like... He is what a Johnny Cage Mortal Kombat character should be if they want to make a movie.
Absolutely.
Like, he's conceited, but he's amazing. Like, actually, no, I gotta go back. I have 3 things I don't like. Not a big fan of Cage.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of him. Like, I get where they're trying to go with him. They want him to be the big monster heel of the company, but at the same time, like, it's not WWE. It doesn't work like that. Like, for the story you're trying to tell, like, he's just kind of weird. Like, it's weird that of all the guys, Mundo is the one you're going to have him no-sell most of his offense.
Yeah.
It's like, Mundo is arguably...
Don't do sugars come back out.
Your number 2. So, I mean, it was like him and Puma. Mm. So, as of right now, who are you liking?
Oh, God. It's just... I'm so enamored. Like I said, I just started watching the show, so I haven't really picked a favorite yet. Like,
Marty the Moth. He's the creepy guy going after Sexy Star.
Yeah.
It's Marty the Moth. I wonder if they're going to bring back some of the more fantastical things, like they had a midget performer and a cross-dresser in season 1. So we haven't seen them yet in this new season. So we'll see. I dug it. I liked it. I mean, Big Rick apparently isn't back, which is, whatever. And I know that's kind of hypocritical because I actually like Rick and I don't like Cage. And I don't know what it is. I'm just going to be fair. Like, I don't know. It's just Cage to me. The fact his promos don't make sense half the time. He's like, I'm not a man, I'm a machine. But he'll say, like, something that doesn't make sense.
Indicative of that.
Like, I can't break down. I'm not a man. I'm a machine. But it's like machines break down.
Yeah, it's like something very indicative of what he's trying to convey.
All right, I'll just kind of throw out names. The Mac. You haven't really seen him wrestle yet, right? I think he had 1 match this season.
I believe so.
What do you think of him so far? Just kind of. Yeah. I think he's one of those guys, like, from appearance-wise, he doesn't look like much, but I think he's a solid in-ring guy. He got the best match out of Cage last season of anybody. What do you think of Famous B? He's doing the used car commercials.
Yeah.
You liking him?
He's pretty cool.
He was kind of the jobber of last season, so it's kind of, let's see what they want to do with him. They seem to be wanting to do something. Rey Mysterio, he hasn't done anything yet, so...
I've always been a fan of Rey Mysterio. I've always had big respect for the guy.
I mean, they're obviously trying to push Dragon Azteca.
Yeah.
They're like, you and Puma are going to be our guys.
Yeah.
So we'll see what they want to do with them. Like, if we don't end the season with a Dragon Azteca match, I'll be pretty butthurt.
Yeah.
Because he didn't do anything the first season. Like, he's literally only in one of the, like, promo backstage fight things.
Right.
And he dies. And then we get the new one, which is the one Ray's training. Katrina. My favorite. Period.
What's to say?
This is my favorite thing in the world right now.
Something wrong with you if you don't like Katrina.
I think her character, like everything about her, I like that she could teleport. That's a gimmick, I guess. Yeah. Lights turn off, she teleports. That's a cool one. You didn't really see much of last season, right?
No.
So you haven't really been exposed to Mil Muertes other than his run-in.
Yeah.
So,
right. I mean, just the fact that he just sits on a throne and just kind of like just, well, I love that. I think that's super fucking cool. Like, and just the whole.
Well, you know what Mil Muertes means, right?
Yeah.
He's the man of 1,000 deaths.
Yeah.
For people that don't speak Spanish.
Just the whole atmosphere. I love the fact that they don't call it the ring, they call it the temple.
Yeah.
I fucking love that. the fans, they call them the followers. Mm-hmm. I love that. Like, that is so cool to me. Just like every little like just. I am a spectacle. I'm a fan of spectacle in wrestling, and you're more the technical side. I'm the spectacle.
Yeah.
Like it's just cool gimmicks. Like just like the people in there. Like I love the masks and the costumes. I've always loved traditional lucha wrestling. Like I've always been a huge fan of that, and I'm in love with Lucha Underground. Like, it's just, it's everything I've wanted since I was a little kid and I first saw wrestling. And, like, I didn't get into wrestling really until, like, the big, Rock and Stone Cold days.
Yeah, like the 2000s-ish.
Yeah, like, very late 90s, early 2000s. Like,
yeah, I was an early 90s kid. Like, a lot of wrestling fans in my family, so I was always watching. Like, my earliest memory is SummerSlam 92. LOD versus IRS and Million Dollar Man.
Yeah, like, I remember Stone Cold's last match, and I kept waiting, like, week after week for him to come back, and he just never came back, so I eventually just lost interest.
Yeah.
Like, there's just one of those things for me, but, like, I almost feel rejuvenated with my love of wrestling, just because over the last few years, like, I've been kind of in and out. Like, I watched a lot of wrestling when I was in college.
Yeah, WWE has been very hit and miss lately.
Yeah.
Like, they seem to be like, oh, we got to sell this pay-per-view. Let's put all the ideas in a bag with a bunch of cats and shake it up and see what happens. And then, like, you'll eventually find some cool stuff, but then their over-reliance on a lot of older guys, I think, is what's holding them back.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, I don't understand at all why you have any returning star lose or beat a young guy. Like, why Bray Wyatt didn't go over Undertaker?
Yeah, I think they're doing what a lot of companies are doing, and they're just trying to dig into our generation of fans. Yeah. Just dig into nostalgia.
Yeah, they figure, we can do a lot of flashy lights and get kids in and get the families, but at the same time, like, I'm an Undertaker generation. Like, I loved Undertaker growing up. I still love Undertaker. He should not be beating Bray Wyatt, though.
No,
but going back to LE discussion.
Yeah.
What do you think of the commentary situation? Because I know a lot of people are kind of mixed. I really like Matt Striker. I know some people don't like him.
Yeah, I've never just, like, he's always been cool with me. Like, I've never had a problem with him.
I think he has a tendency to say some kind of crazy things, like when he said Chavo Guerrero is one of the most respected wrestlers in the world.
Yeah, I don't know where he got that from.
Executive producer Chavo Guerrero. We'll watch the credits.
Yeah.
You don't believe it. But, I mean, just stuff like that. Even Van Pierre was just like, what the hell did you say? So I was like, yeah. And, like, every once in a while he'll get a little too excited and, like, gets a little too crazy. I do think, though, that Lucha is really trying to push into, like, a... Not exactly where ECW was, but kind of some of that spirit where we're different, we want to be different, this is how we want to be our product. I have a couple little concerns about it going that way. I don't want it to become a blood and guts thing. Like, I enjoyed Vampiro and
Pentagon?
Yeah, Pentagon Jr. I think they had a really great match last season, but I don't want them to become a thing where every match is hardcore.
Yeah.
Because the last couple weeks they've had a lot of hardcore matches, and I enjoy a good hardcore match. But there's other stipulations I'd rather see. Not to... hard correct you earlier when you said I'm a technical guy. Kind of, but I'm a storytelling guy. You need to tell me a story that makes sense. That's what I'm looking for. I don't care. That's why, at the end of the day, I don't give a shit if Braun Strowman's only moves are clubbing blows, head squeezes, head smashes, flippers. I'm cool with that. Just tell me that story. Don't try to tell me a story and then have somebody go in there and not make sense. Like, every once in a while, Lucha will kind of do it. Like, it's just kind of a Lucha style thing where it's so working together that every once in a while they'll do a move that doesn't mesh a whole lot when you're trying to tell a story. But I can forgive them because I know what I'm looking at. It's the world they're building, it's Lucha. You're going to get those kind of Lucha things. Because if you're really in your head, you'd be like, well, why does anybody ever bounce back from an Irish whip? Why wouldn't you just stop running? So I'm cool with that, but I understand it. But I'm a storytelling guy. Like, make sure your story makes sense. Alright, so to kind of end this out, because it's our first one, looking forward to WrestleMania. Looking forward to see what's happening with Lucha Underground and what's going down with NXT. Of the three right now, what are you most excited for? Lucha, NXT, Raw. How are you going to rank them?
I literally just started watching NXT, so I'm not... Like, I'm liking their direction that they're going with.
Alright, I'm kind of interested, because you are kind of an outsider at NXT. Between their Divas, their singles title, and their tag title, what are you enjoying the most?
Oof. It's a mixed bag for me. Like, I haven't seen enough where I can really get into a lot of things, but, like, the Vaudevillains, the moment I saw them come out, the screen goes to, like, the gray and the old, like, film thing, and I'm just like, this is the single greatest gimmick I've ever seen in my life. It's such, like, it's a stereotypical goofy wrestling gimmick.
Yeah.
Like, they had, like, the little singlets and the curly mustaches, and they were doing, like, the strongman poses. And then, like, they came out of, like, nowhere, like, when the fucking, like,
the Hype Bros?
Hype Bros.
Yeah, they're like...
hey, I can't believe they were just like, and, like, I'm just like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool. Like, I love that shit.
The best thing about it is you can see on NXT they're working within their budget, but they're still putting on gimmicks. Like, that's my biggest issue with the main roster.
Yeah.
You really don't got a whole lot of gimmicks going on. Like, you have Bayley's inflatable arm man, so you can easily buy 5, I think they buy. Fill them with air for, what, $10 worth of air? To go like that during your entrance and display. Yeah, that's a great entrance. You don't have to go buy a whole lot of shit. You're not buying fireworks every time you go to. You're just shipping them. Put them on the back of the truck.
Yeah, divas. I like in NXT. I love half the divas. Hate half the divas. Or I guess can't even call them divas because they're not divas yet, technically.
I think they are. I think they're all under WWE.
Yeah.
What do you think of Cobra Moon in LU?
I don't mind her.
Really, she's got to have a little bit of an issue. I don't know if it's her gimmick where she's just working really slow, or if that's... Yeah. I don't know who's under the mask. I don't want to look into spoilers.
Right.
Because spoilers tend to beget story spoilers.
Right.
So I don't want to look her up and then somebody's like, she's the champion. And I'm like, son of a bitch. Like, I already got one spoiler, which really pissed me off. I won't ruin for anybody else here. But I assume it's a season-ending spoiler. So... I don't know. Maybe it's the gimmick, and it's just something I just had to get my mind around. But it just feels like she moves really slow.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And granted, I think sexy, she's really good, but she's better when she's working with somebody who's really solid. Like when she was working with Pentagon, she had really solid matches. At the same time, she really couldn't take... Pentagon's offense is super hard hitting.
Yeah.
It looks like he's trying to kick through people. And obviously he was pulling back a little bit, so it kind of didn't look quite right, especially with the gimmick being no mercy, no fear, cero miedo. So, but I think if you get her in there with Fenix or King Cuerno, somebody who's just not going to give a shit, like Big Rick, he didn't hold back on her at all. I remember hauling off and clotheslining the shit out of her in season 1. That's where I got a lot of respect for her. But her and Cobra, it looked like their match was just in slow motion. Yeah, maybe that's Cobra's gimmick. I don't know. If she wants to work a slower match. I didn't think too much of it. Her first match with Bengali. You saw that one, right?
Yeah.
So maybe give her a couple more chances, see what she can do. Obviously, I'm going to give Cage a couple more chances. I enjoyed what he did with Mac. I hated his match with Mundo. I didn't understand it at all. He just no-sold everything Mundo was doing. Didn't make sense. In my opinion, Johnny Mundo should be up at the top of your card. He is among the best. I don't think Cage is there yet. So... with that, I don't really think there's a whole lot more to talk about.
Oh, that new commentator that's on Smackdown.
Oh, Mario Ronaldo, I think.
Love that guy.
Yeah, he's my favorite commentator in the E right now. Him, and I like...
we got Heel King back. I mean, He's still king, you know. Probably should retire soon from it, but heel king is better than face king. That's all I gotta say about that. Like, I just enjoy listening to him again.
Yeah.
Like, it brought me back to the good old JR days.
Yeah, I think he really helps King, because I think King is best at getting those little one-liners out.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to have somebody who can do 90% of the work, I don't understand what Byron's deal is right now. Like, in my opinion, he's horrible. Like, I remember when Michael was brand new on SmackDown, and he wasn't that bad.
He's very tasteless. Like, he's just...
It just sounds like he's there to say things that are in his head. Like, somebody, like, say, buy Snickers. Like, Snickers. That guy is the best. Look at that, Michael. That's a hard-hitting move. Like, that's, like, all he says. Like, he doesn't really talk like a human being. Like, he just sounds horrible out there. And granted, like, Michael and JBL are just... They need to take the headsets off those guys. Like, if it's a commercial, you know, like... Or, you know, send them a text message because they have TVs in front of them. Like, put it down there. You have, like, a line at the bottom, like... Hey, remember to plug whatever. Like, the bullshit they're talking about is just, like, insane in the middle of a match. Have JBL talk about what moves do. Have Michael call the action in the ring. And then just have Byron as the only one who's got the headset on that he's getting talked to. And have him remind Michael during commercials or whatever. Yeah. Like, hey, man, we got the next match is, you know, Usos and whoever, the Ascension. Remember, we got to plug Dudley stuff. We got to plug WrestleMania. We got to plug the singer, whoever you're going to have is like your 5 bands that are going to be the songs of WrestleMania. So they got to plug that. Come back from commercial. Michael's telling the thing. You get a lull in the action. He can plug something. Then JBL can plug something, and then Byron can plug the last thing. Instead of just like the insipid bullshit they just talk about, or the arguments between them. But it's kind of a long-standing thing of just like somebody needs to call the action in the ring. That's why I'm liking Mario on SmackDown. I think that's his name.
Yeah, he sounds like a professional.
Yeah, he's like, oh, clothesline. Like I have this weird thing where it seems like nobody in WWE knows what an exploder suplex looks like. Because they've called a capture suplex and a fall-away slam both an exploder suplex in the last 2 weeks plus the last pay-per-view. I'm just like, okay. Apparently I'm the only one that knows what moves are called. So, other than that, guys, I'm Dave.
I am Supercharged Funk.
Please leave us a like and a comment. I want to know which of the 3 you like the most, what you want us to focus on, if there's something you guys just as a collective audience don't give a shit about. We could kind of phase it out if you're like, yeah, main roster's just pissing me off, I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Hey, we'll talk NXT, we'll talk Lucha, if that's what you guys want to see. Or if you're just like, hey man, we don't really give a shit about Lucha, we'll talk about Lucha.
Or if there's any particular superstar.
Yeah, because I think I'd like to create a new gimmick moving forward for next week to debut, is fix a guy. We take one guy.
That's kind of back to what I was going to ask if they wanted to leave any particular person.
I think next week I got a perfect one to start out with. I think the guy is Del Rio. I think he's the solid one. Watch him. I think I've posted enough ideas on my boy Rusev. And I think we gave Ryback a good idea for this week. So next week, Del Rio, I'll put some thoughts into it. You put some thoughts into it. And we'll kind of compare and contrast, see what we come up with.
All right, that sounds good to me. Till then, guys, we'll catch you later.